So here we are. We're outside of the Museum of Modernism, which is here in downtown Mount Dora in Florida. It's a David Bowie collection here. It's dedicated pretty much to David Bowie and some other artists, just a hand select private collection. And we're going to be going inside. And as you can see here, the Space Oddities, Sauce Memphis,
Yeah, it's
showcasing
all
designs by this group of fellows here, these artists.
yeah, and a woman, and it's all furniture made in the '80s by a firm called Memphis, Milano, and Bowie was a collector of this type of furniture. So we're gonna go see some beautiful modernist furniture, and a lot of it was owned by Bowie.
Okay, so let's go in, shall we?
Let's go.
Well, let's do it.
So here we are at the Modernism Museum in downtown Mount Dora, which is in Central Florida. Kind of an unusual place for Bowie to have a lot of his furniture, his private furniture collection. All of the furniture in here was designed in Italy by a company called Memphis Milano, and it really looks very American, bright colors, but it was a European designer, and Bowie collected furniture, and he collected a lot of furniture from this design firm. And when he passed away in 2016, his estate auctioned off a lot of his private collection. So not everything here is his furniture, but a lot of it is. I'd say about a good 30–40% is his private collection. So hope you enjoy the tour. We really, there's a lot of interesting things to see and quotes from Bowie. And you can see tables where he had breakfast, probably in the morning, shelves where he put his books, and just a lot of interesting pieces. He definitely was a man of style. So the company, again, was called Memphis, or Memphis Milano, because it was made in Italy. And we're looking at another table and chairs, very bright colors, love it.
Well, so what do we have here? We've got table and chairs.
Yeah, table and chairs, Joe.
Palm Springs.
Oh,
That's
and
where we
this
used
is
to
called
live.
Palm Springs table. It
Just
doesn't.
recently.
Yeah, God, I love Palm Springs.
Oh God, me too.
Miss
So
it.
it's called the Palm Spring. The table is.
The table, and it was made in 1984. And oh yeah, that's good.
Man.
Yeah, Palm Springs, 1984. And then,
And then you got the chairs, which.
isn't that a cool table? It's
So the chairs here.
and the chairs were his too.
Italian.
So,
1951.
I bet
Italian
that's-
chairs procured from Sotheby's London auction.
Yeah.
1951. Michel de Lucci.
So this is called Riviera, the chairs.
We try to keep that out of the
and-
light there.
Yeah, and it was made in 1981, these chairs. So the table was made in 84.
Oh, is it 81?
Yeah, 81.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is just my guess, I'm thinking that this was Bowie's dining table, and that the other table that we just saw was his breakfast table. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
That looks like a dining table. Look how long it is.
Definitely a cocktail table. Definitely a cocktail.
Well,
table.
no, a dining table. That's where
Yeah.
that was probably in his dining room.
I don't know. Why am I thinking cocktail? Maybe because of the colors, the pop,
The colors.
pink, get the blue.
I love it. So that table is called Palm Springs.
Ice cream dessert.
Yeah, it's like the color of sherbet.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So let's keep looking, and we're going to look. There's a lot of things in the museum that were owned by other people, but we're just going to concentrate on what was owned by Bowie. All right, so we're looking at another room. Oh, I used to call him David. Nice picture of Bowie, and that's from the Diamond Dogs tour. which I was lucky enough to see at the Universal Amphitheater in LA, and that's from
What year
Ziggy's.
was that?
The Diamond Dogs tour, that was 1974, right after Ziggy Stardust. Yeah, he really changed his look quickly. And I still remember being at the concert and touching his shoe, and the security guards threw me back. But I touched him, David, and that's Ziggy Stardust.
Well, no, we can't touch the furniture, but
And that, of course, is
We
from
won't.
Ziggy Stardust. Love that photo.
and so over to the right
Saw
here
that tour
is
too. So the only
Belvedere.
the only piece that he owned here was this side table, and I believe the mirror. And let's look in on the description here. It was made in 1982. So that was made in Italy and in 1982. So he owned this. Maybe he had it in his bedroom. He could have. It looks like the kind of little sweet little table and mirror that you would have maybe.
His wife.
Maybe
would be
like
using-
an-
Or he would be using it for some makeup.
Yeah.
You know.
Or he would, or maybe in like an entry table. That's what that looks like to me. A little entry table and mirror. Okay, so here we are in another room, and I love how the rooms have pictures of him, photos from the past. And that is from, I think it's from The Man Who Fell to Earth, the movie. And that's just great. Or it
What
might
year is
be.
the movie?
Man Who Fell to
19
Earth was right around 75.
75.
Yeah, that was a Station to Station album. The Thin White Duke. The Return of the Thin White Duke. God, that was such a great album. So I'm going to just look at these items. Now, he didn't own all of them, but he owned this piece we're looking at right here. It's a sideboard, and I guess,
It's called the Bertrand.
yeah, it's called the,
1987.
yeah, it was made in 1987, and the light is in that. But it was made in 1987, again in Italy. It's a sideboard, and I guess a sideboard is what you put like your dishes and glassware. I wonder if it's open on the other side.
Put some.
I love it.
Put hats.
I love the fact that
Wine bottles up there.
I love the fact it looks like those boxes on the top. They look like boxes that are going to tip over.
Yeah.
And I love how the sideboard is tilted to the left.
God.
It's-
Did David Bowie have cats?
I don't know.
Because I was going to say if he had a cat, I'm sure
Oh, I know. It almost looks like a
cat
cat
be
would love to
jumping
walk around.
up into that.
So
That'd
that's
be a lot of fun for a cat to nap in.
so he might have had that in his
Jump and
dining
play.
area.
Yeah.
So colorful. He must have had such a colorful house. So all right, we're going to move on to the next space.
I love this bookshelf. That's a bookshelf right there.
That's a
I
bookshelf.
love this.
They have pottery on there to have examples of the Memphis pottery, but this was a bookshelf. It looks like flames.
I'm trying to imagine me having this book. We have so many bookshelves, and I'm trying to imagine us.
Yeah.
You have this in the house, and you're stacking your books. I mean,
You know what
you're
I?
walking in the morning or the afternoon with a tea, a coffee.
Well, Bowie loved books, so I'm
What
sure
a-
he had a lot of books on there.
What an aesthetic for
And
the eye.
the
Amazing.
thing I like about it, or one of the things I like about it, is that see the glass shelves? It looks like they're adjustable.
Yeah.
So you could put more glass or less glass, depending on how many books that you want to display.
You could fit a lot of books in there. And
Yeah.
big books too. Coffee table books, his
Bowie-
art books. And
Yeah, Bowie loved to read. So again, I'm just kind of focusing on what Bowie owned. He did not own this vanity, but wow, what an amazing vanity. Now that looks very 1930s. I feel like that could be something out of the movie Grand Hotel. Wow. Don't you love that exit door? I don't know about these pieces here. Okay, here's something that Bowie owned. And this is called a sideboard. I thought it was a bookcase. And the piece is called Casablanca. And it was made in 1981. So I bet he had books on this and maybe other stuff in the middle, maybe his glassware collections. So that was also from his private collection. Now I don't know if Bowie had all of this Memphis Milano furniture in his home in New York or just some of it. That was not a Bowie item there. Wow, look at this sculpture. That is neat. Wow.
Bowie, Success, Memphis, presented by Main Street Leasing. The pieces you are about to see were created by the incomparable group of designers known as Memphis. Launched in 1981 and led by the prominent designer Ettore Success. Memphis was a completely new approach to design and had a huge influence on the look of the 1980s. The late David Bowie may be one of the most famous collectors of Memphis works. Many of those pieces from his private collection are here on display for you to enjoy. You may be asking yourself, why is there a show about Memphis, a postmodernism design movement, here at the Modernism Museum, Mount Dora?
Modernism, as exemplified by people like Wendell Castle or Nescherick, was really a rethinking of design 100 years ago or more to consider totally new ideas like new materials, ideas like form following function, and especially the idea that design could look at contemporary fine art for inspiration. So for example, a chair could look like an abstract painting or an abstract sculpture. Now what postmodernism did was to adapt those ideas, but raise them to an even higher pitch. So instead of an object just being fully considered and thought of in a sculptural way, it also could be a statement. It could be a proposition. It could be something that makes you stand up in surprise, almost pops out of your immediate surroundings and demands to be taken notice of. And that's really what Memphis does. It extends modernism, but into a totally new key. And in that sense, of course, it makes perfect sense, all the sense in the world, really, for this furniture, these objects to be here at the Modernism Museum.
The 80s were a radical time period in politics and business. It only seems fitting that the Memphis philosophy was a reaction to the strict, straight lines of modernism.
We often call them a radical design collective, which means that they were rethinking the role that everyday objects could play in your life. So they were designing things like chairs and cabinets and vases and bowls, but they were doing that in this really remarkable way, in a way that was artistic, that was expressive, and that really encouraged you to rethink your relationship to your own surroundings.
The Memphis group was Italian in the sense that it was based in Milan, but it was also international.
So it was brought together by this extremely interesting and powerful designer called Ettore Success, and what he did was to reach out to not only people in Milan, Italy, but also elsewhere. So he brought in people from America, from Japan, from elsewhere in Europe, and he really was trying to, you might say, collect what was best, most interesting in advanced design at that time. And all of that came together, and that was Memphis. And this was part of his
Known for his avant-garde lifestyle and progressive individualism, the late David Bowie was drawn to the Memphis collection, both stylistically and philosophically.
One of the most exciting aspects of this presentation at Modernism Museum is the fact that many of these objects were owned by David Bowie, the great performer, superstar, musician. And it's an interesting question as to what Bowie saw in Memphis. You know, having thought about it a little bit, I would say that maybe he saw himself, because Bowie was an incredible experimenter, innovator, and avant-garde figure, and also someone that understood the power of style. So he would remake himself, his hair, he would use makeup, the way that he dressed, as a way to really create a whole aura or a new persona around each of his albums. And I'm sure that he saw Memphis as doing something similar. So you could say that what Bowie did for music, Memphis was doing for design.
Bowie said of Memphis in a 2002 article in V Magazine, it mixed Formica attitude with marble diffidence, bright yellows against turquoise, virus patterns on ceramics. It couldn't care less about function. Each piece of furniture offered a plethora of possibilities, options, and inconclusive open ends. We've all heard the saying, everything old is new again. Well, Memphis may be even more relevant and exciting today than it was in the 1980s.
It's also really extraordinary to see this material pulled together here at the Modernism Museum. This is the largest exhibition on Memphis that has ever been assembled.
All right, I'm going into the back part of the museum. There's lots of beautiful magazine covers here in the Modernism Museum. Love this. A lot of mid-century. And then, oh, this is a surprise. So everything with a star was owned by Bowie. So the burgundy table in plastic, laminate, and metal, and the chair in metal and wood. And this is again, the Memphis Milano collection. So I'm guessing the
So what do we have
burgundy.
here, the Memphis Milano collection?
Yeah, Memphis Milano, which was a firm in the 80s in Italy that designed a lot of furniture. I always feel like when I'm looking at this furniture that I'm looking at an MTV video from the 80s or Pee Wee Herman's.
Absolutely.
What was that show called? Pee Wee's Playhouse?
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me of it. But Bowie loved this style of furniture made in Italy.
It's almost like
And-
an IKEA, too, with less colors.
Yeah.
A good IKEA.
A good IKEA.
You find that artistic type of furniture.
So
We're always looking for it.
so the red table was owned by Bowie. And what else do we have here? And chair in metal and wood. So
So the chair,
I think it must be all the chairs, because there's several chairs here.
okay, and you said the table?
No, not the table, because the table is, it is the table. It's the table and the chairs, because it was called burgundy, but that's not the color. It's just the piece was called burgundy. Isn't that wild? And it's not burgundy.
Yeah.
So the table and the chairs were part of Bowie's personal collection.
Wow.
That was probably his breakfast table.
Wow, we can't.
I like to have my
We
coffee. I
can't
love the
sit
chairs.
down and have a
They're
coffee
very,
right now with that.
They're very mid-century. That is cool.
An omelet, an egg, a vegan egg, a real egg, salad, some feta cheese.
Oh God, you're making me hungry.
Something, right?
You're making me hungry, Joe.
Yeah, breakfast. I'm
That
thinking
is cool.
breakfast.
I don't
there.
know why they keep this in the back, but
That's what I'm thinking of.
that was his table and chairs where he probably had breakfast with Iman and his daughter Alexis.
Yes.
When his son Duncan would come over, maybe he'd sit in one of these chairs. But Bowie loved this style of furniture. And
That's cool.
that's cool. I do too.
You saving the best for last?
I guess. I
Is
don't
this
know
the
why
last one?
This is,
I think so.
yeah, well, maybe we'll just go around.
Wasn't expecting this one either.
Let's go around and look a little more.
Okay.
All right, here's another item owned by Bowie. I love it, another colorful item.
Bookshelf, right?
Bookshelf.
This has got to be a
I don't know,
bookshelf.
let's look at the plaque.
Sideboard and plastic laminated wood. So, yeah, this thing moves. So there we go.
So 1981.
Not the clearest.
So it's called a sideboard. Well, I think a sideboard you could just put whatever you want.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you can fit a lot of books in there.
Yeah.
Once again,
So this
so
was
many options.
this was in his house. I love it. I bet he put books on that too.
Had a cat. We need to look at it. We had a cat.
Yeah.
I'm
And I-
curious if
I
Billy
love-
had a cat.
I also love that photo of him in the back there. That's such a great photo from the Ziggy Stardust era. So that's
Yeah,
another
That's
bookshelf sideboard from,
Carlton, 1981.
yeah. That's great. He must have had such a really colorful house. Here's another piece owned by David Bowie. I used to call him David in the 70s. It's a little sideboard. I don't know what I'd put on this. I think it looks like a little cocktail table, little end table. And then you've got the description there. It's called so much glare. It's called the Continental from 1984. Cool. So this was purchased or manufactured in 1984. That's a sweet
It's a
little
beautiful
table.
piece.
I love
Yeah.
the colors,
Cowhide.
the cowhide.
And then over here we have another one.
Yeah, let's go over here.
This is the Polar.
Oh, I
1984.
love this quote. It didn't look serious. It looked like a prank. It mixed formica attitude with marble diffidence. Oh, he was always so good with words. I forgot what diffidence means.
Is it dissonance?
Diffidence.
Oh, different.
Yeah, here's another piece owned by Bowie. And it's called Polar from 1984. And it's a little end table. All right.
Yeah, there we go. So that's
Little picture of him
1984.
there.
That's like the height of the MTV explosion.
I know.
Warhol.
Well, I feel like I'm in an MTV video when I'm in here. I never thought Bowie would have furniture this colorful. I don't know why. I didn't think he would have a dreary house, but I never thought he would have furniture that was kind of, I guess wacky's the word, or
Burl wood, veneer, wood.
colorful.
Laminate. There we
Oh
go.
yeah, this is
Set up
another.
here.
So he had,
Just like a huge wood
so all the pieces here
mixture, mixed media
are not,
bookshelf.
yeah, the actual glassware is not his, but the piece is. I'm just going to back up. The piece is huge.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even know if I
Yeah.
can get the whole thing in one shot, but it's kind of a bookshelf or liquor cabinet, whatever you want to do, display case on the left, on the right rather, and then to me it kind of looks like a bar on the left with that odd angle.
It does.
Love it. So Bowie had this in his house.
Wow.
I bet he
Wow.
put,
He had a lot of books and records. You can put records in there.
yeah, records, books.
That's a great record shelf.
But don't you think that looks like a little
And
cocktail
also you
bar
can
on
have
the
a stereo
left?
system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You could have a tiki paradise on the left.
Yeah.
That's
There's
for sure.
another quote from Bowie. It couldn't care less about function. How do you sit on that? It tabled the idea of the idea. I'm not sure what he means. But I guess he liked the fact that
I love that.
Oh.
Tabling the idea of an idea.
I think he's saying there
That's
he
beautiful.
didn't care that a lot of these pieces didn't look functional. Like the average person would say, how do you sit on that? Or like this piece, like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
But it's great. It's
Yeah.
just beautiful.
Tabling the ideas.
Of the idea. Yeah, so we're going to walk over here. More examples of the same style.
You have another quote up here.
Another
Suck down
quote.
the breath of pop culture with gusto and enthusiasm that was delightful to witness.
So he loved Memphis furniture.
And over here you
Made
have-
in Italy in the 80s. I would never have thought this furniture was made in Italy either. I would have never thought Bowie would have furniture like this, and I would never thought this furniture was made in Italy.
So these are by George Snowden. George Snowden. Soden.
Yeah.
At the Palace, 1983.
Yeah, so that is a star on it. So
The
that
chairs.
means Bowie owned these chairs that we see in the with the green arms.
Lacquered wood. The chairs. So Soden was, he studied architecture at Gloucestershire College of Art in the 1960s, it said.
Yeah, I guess there was different people that worked for the Memphis design firm. It started with the red typewriter, a beautiful thing produced by Olivetti. Now that's like a typewriter sculpture, obviously. That Bowie didn't own. He didn't own this table, but he did own these lamps. Look at these floor lamps. I can't even get them in the shot, but I can get parts of them. But he owned these 3 floor lamps, which is just wild. These floor lamps. And I think they're
Sturdy.
called...
They're not going to tip over.
Yeah,
They're not going to have a weak moment.
they kind of have
Like the
handles.
ones we have at the house.
Oh God, yeah.
Where you bump it with an elbow and
I know.
there's a little bit of a wobble.
Some of our floor lamps are from Walmart. Oh my God, they're so cheap.
Or if the cat jumps on the lamp.
So let's look at the plaque. So this is, they're called treetops, these lamps, and they were made in 1982. So Bowie had these in his house. I bet he had them in his living room or dining room. He must have had
Those are sturdy.
He must have had high ceilings.
It's very 80s for sure, like that.
Oh, yeah.
That multicolored, like
I-
you said, the MTV explosion, 1984.
I know. I feel like
1982, 83.
I feel like I'm going back to the era of Cyndi Lauper when I
Oh yes, yes.
when I look at some of this stuff.
Gary
But-
Newman cars.
But it's yeah. But beautiful. Let's just pan the whole room. And then there's
Beautiful.
David
And that piece
there.
right below where
Yeah, now he owned
he's
this.
doing the pose.
Now this is obviously from station to station.
And that's a table there that he owned as well.
Yeah, so
And
that's
it's meant to have a different formation where you can see a different, at each angle it looks different basically.
yeah, each angle it's supposed to give you something different.
Gives you a different feel.
A lot of this,
every angle that you approach it at.
yeah, a lot of this furniture, it almost looks like it would move. Like, doesn't it look like,
the tartar.
what's it called?
Tartar. Elnor.
Like tartar sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, it was named
19
after, there's a barbaric tribe that they mention here.
So it's named, so it's from 1985.
That book looks fun to read.
Doesn't it look like the middle of that table would kind of move? Like slide? I love it. Let's look at this.
I would love working with that because at the house, like I have my typewriter to the left, I have my computer in the front, and my cups of tea over to the right.
Yeah?
I need to have.
You would like that table?
Yeah, because you can pivot posture and you have a million things going on. You're multitasking. And I'm sure he did.
I wouldn't know what to do with that. It's not like a piece of art. I
I'm
wouldn't.
sure his mind worked like that too. It's kind of.
But where do you sit? You don't. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. You can sit like at home. I have no typewriter. Go back and forth. You have something here.
Oh.
You might have some books over here.
So you'd have your table. I mean, you'd have your chair
You're
somewhere.
eating and you can't leave the space. You just move the plate over there. You can get to it when you get to it.
It's like
I don't know,
three.
he might have used it in that kind of regard.
It's like three different areas.
That's great though.
That's him on stage, obviously.
I think this
The
wraps it
Thin
up.
White Duke, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so we're done here in Mount Dora
It's a
at the
beautiful museum with so many pieces.
beautiful
Wonderful collection. here.
Modernism Museum.
All right.
Love
Well,
it.
till the next time.
All right. You want to say goodbye, Joe?
Yeah.
Till the next time.
There he is.
Oh, I think, you know what? I think David is telling us it's time to stop. Hi. Good.
Ooh, nice and cool in here.
Oh, yeah. I like the AC.
Yeah, they have some postcards and cards from the museum.
Look at, they got a Bowie book here, all the songs.
Oh, nice. That's a nice cover.
The story, oh yeah, loved
Beautiful.
that outfit.
God.
Ziggy Stardust, oh my God.
I love the shirt, Museum Nerd.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
That's a nice shirt.
That's fantastic.
Let's see how much is it?
The museum shirt, $29.95.
$29.95. Oh, that's nice. Museum
Oh, I
Nerd.
love the necklace.
Yeah.
That's stylistic.
Yeah, that looks very,
That's really cool.
that looks like a lot of the furniture we just
God,
saw.
and the clock. It's like a Dali almost. Definitely more modern, though. The swinging guitar.
Love it.
Beautiful. It's nice having visual aesthetics for the eye.
Yeah.
This is the eyes get thirsty
Oh,
for
you get a lot of Van Gogh stuff here because of the Van Gogh house.
color, shapes.
There's a house in
Look how
Mount Dora
beautiful that
that's
is.
painted
Yeah.
Van Gogh style.
Yeah.
So they're emphasizing that with, oh, I love the scarf. Isn't that cool? That would be a really nice gift for someone I'm thinking of. Love it.
There's some more Van Gogh.
Yeah.
It's a local artist here, like you're mentioning, that has a house that he painted. And he
Yes.
gives lessons and stuff.
Yes, there's a house in the town that's painted like this. And it was very controversial because some of the neighbors wanted him to paint over it.
Oh, here's some more Bowie.
Oh, more Bowie books.
Nice.
Love it. I think that's my
They're
favorite
complete.
era, but besides Ziggy Stardust.
Have you read that book?
No.
How about this book over here? Is that just
No.
a different version of it? Oh, Hero. I think you have that one, right?
I don't think so. The only
Oh,
one
and
I
then there's
have.
another one.
The only one I have is
Oral
the
History.
Bowie in Berlin, which you gave me. That's such a great book. Love it.
Yeah, the oral history. Okay.
Oh, this is
Little
cool.
Dolly there.
Lincoln goes Ziggy Stardust.
There you go. That's funny. What is this? Hendrix and
Yeah.
Lincoln?
Yeah, I think it's Hendrix mixed with Lincoln. Yeah.
And
That I don't know who that is. Maybe Madonna mixed with Mona
I
Lisa.
don't know. Between the Hendrix one and the
Oh, I like that one.
Lincoln. That's funny. That's
Lincoln.
just funny.
Lincoln.
Did we find another one? We did.
Yeah, another Bowie book.
Okay, and this one
It's a
is
bus.
Mark Spitz. That seems familiar. You must.
Well, he was a swimmer. He was a famous swimmer.
Oh, well, that's why. I'm really into swimming.
It sounds like the same
Which
name.
one is this, though? Three Rivers
I don't
Press
know.
biography. Oh, it's a biography.
Yeah, it's a biography.
Cool.
Mark Spitz.
Wow.
Bowie.
They're pumping out. There's still a lot of interest
Yeah.
in Bowie, obviously.
I've never read a
Just be
Bowie
you.
biography because I feel like I
Love
know
that.
so much about him anyway. But
We're
guess
just
you-
being us now. Everybody's got to be themselves.
just be
Don't
you.
have to try to be Bowie. He's got his place still. Fortunately, he's not here though. Okay, we're gonna move on. We found another book. So this isn't over yet, folks.
Bowie for babies.
For babies.
Oh, it's a children's book.
So look at that.
Oh, that's cute.
So
If I had had a son or daughter, I would have had to have gotten that
but
book.
it doesn't end there because I just noticed this.
Oh,
There's a David Bowie coloring
a
book.
coloring book. That's cute. That's probably for kids too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
And
cute.
What else do we have over
Where's
here
Bowie?
to the left?
Search
Where's
for Bowie. Oh,
It's
looks
like
like
where's Waldo?
Looks like a game.
Right. So
Oh, so this is all for children.
yeah.
Oh, I love
Wow.
it.
They must have children nowadays somewhere with these books.
Yeah.
You go to class and get a
Good.
David Bowie coloring book.
In my day, there
And
was.
Where's Waldo? Where's David Bowie? Oh, that was a lot of fun. What do you think?
That was great. I learned a lot about Bowie, and I learned a lot about a style of furniture that I knew nothing about. And I was so surprised that he had such colorful furniture. It was like going back to the 80s. And kind of the 30s too. I liked some of that stuff was kind of blending the 30s with the 80s.
Yeah.
love that
Well, thanks for
photo.
joining us on another adventure from New York City all the way to Mount Dora, the David Bowie art collection here in Mount Dora.
Yeah.
Furniture is art, folks.
Yeah, David Bowie from New York City to Mount Dora, Florida.
It was fun. Thanks for joining us. Until the next time. Ciao.